Al-Kadosh, Erev Tov Masechet Ketubot Daf Nun Bet Amud Aleph. We're talking about 52a1. We're just going to speak about again from the two dots on Nun Aleph Amud Bet. If you remember, we were talking about a Kohenet, that if right now the Kohenet comes, and we said that if she was going to be violated, she's prohibited to her husband. So therefore, he has to say, Im tishtabai, if you're going to be captured, so then he will redeem her and take her back to her Medina. So Rabbi says, if an almanah gets married to a kohen gadol, he's obligated to redeem her. Shani koreba, because I read in the ketubah, which means he's going to give her back. Which means since the kohen is not chayav to take him back as a wife because she becomes prohibited to her, but rather he has to redeem her and take her back to the city. So it comes out that the woman does not have this tanai that it's in order that she's going to go out of the husband kohen to get divorced, and still. Right, even though the nisuin were done be'isur, she still gets the zechut to be redeemed. This is where we're starting now today. So that's the difference between mamzeret u'netinat Israel, that she's not obligated to redeem her. Why? Because I do not read for it, that I do not read the entire concept that he's going to bring her back as a wife. Because remember that a mamzeret u'netinat cannot come here to the kal. So the Israel cannot take her back as the wife. So since the Israel cannot take back mamzeret u'netinat as a wife, so therefore what happens is he doesn't have to redeem her. Rav says, no. Kol she'isur shivya gorem la, chayav liftota. Isur davar acher gorem la, eno chayav liftota. Rava comes and he says, what's the general rule? The general rule is that if the isur is because of the shivya, because of the captivity, so then what happens is he's obligated to come in to redeem him. But if the isur is anyway because of something else, he doesn't have to. And that's the difference between a kohen to Israel, right, that we spoke about beforehand. Okay, why? Because we said by the kohen that it says im tishtabai, that if you're going to be captured, you're going to get redeemed, and I'm going to have to take you back to your country. The kavanah is not that he's obligated to redeem her, even somebody that's prohibited to him, because then anyway she was already prohibited to him. It's only because of the shvuya that she became prohibited to him. So then he has to redeem her. But if there was another reason, right, that he cannot live with her, for example, the almanah to the kohen gadol, that even without that anyway, the kohen gadol could not get married to the almanah. So then anyway, he's not obligated to redeem her, because it wasn't the isur shvuya that caused the isur. It was the isur because of the varacher. So says the Gemara, what did we just say? That it's machloket tanaim. Hamadirat ishto. If somebody comes and makes a neder to his wife, he says that she's not allowed to benefit from him, and which means that he's obligated to divorce her. Then he's shvet, and then she becomes captive. Right? She's taken into captivity. Rabbi Eliezer says, podeh, he has to redeem her, and notel l'aktubata. He has to give her the ketubah. Yoshua says, no, you give her the ketubah, ve'eno podeh. But he doesn't have to redeem her. Just give her the ketubah. Let her redeem herself. Because sometimes the pidyon, right, the redemption could be much more than the ketubah. Amar binatan says, binatan shalti sumchus, I have sumchus. Keshamar Rabbi Yoshua, when Rabbi Yoshua says, no, you have to give the ketubah and you're not going to redeem her. Right, keshidira, when at the beginning, right, it was only when he made the neder, ulvasof mishpet. And then afterwards, she was captured. Or nishpet, she was captured, and then at the end, he made the neder, right? That means basically the question is like this. Right now, this guy could pull a very, very fast one. You know what the fast one is? Right? She gets captured. And all of a sudden, what does he do? Makes a neder. Why? Because he makes a neder. No, she can't benefit from me. And now he said, oh, no problem. Here's a ketubah. Can he do that or not? So that's what the Gemara asks. So he answered me, Sumfus, lo shamati. I don't know. I didn't hear this from my rabbis. Then he didn't varim, but it's more logical to say the first has to be yidira. All of a sudden, first he made the neder. And then she was captured. Why? The first she was captured, and then she was hidira. So then the Baal could do a rama. He could do a trick. He could start playing fast ones, and we don't want that. So my love, are we not talking about a madira shet kohen? This is not the talking about, because obviously in such a case, anyway, she's going to be prohibited to him. So therefore, he's thinking in his mind, anyway, she can't come back to him. So then he's going to make a neder and he's going to do all these things. So Abaye is the one that holds like Rabbi Eliezer, that a kohen that's madira's wife, and then she gets redeemed, she gets captured, he's obligated to redeem her. And Rava, that he says by a kohen gadol, right, that he's not obligated to redeem her, he holds like Rabbi Yoshua. So answers the Gemara, no. Hacham Meskina, what are we dealing with? Kegon Shenadra Ihi. She was the one that made the neder. Meaning, who was the one that made the neder? She made a neder. She's not going to benefit from her husband. The Kiem Lahu. He was Mekayem the neder. Right? Imagine right now, the woman comes, she makes a neder. I'm not going to come and I'm not going to benefit from you. What does he say? Amen. He says amen. So what happens? Rabbi Eliezer holds, he's the cause. And since he's the cause, because he's the cause of the biting of the why? Because why does she have to be Mekayem? Right? Then he was one that was Mekayem the neder. So therefore, he's obligated to redeem her. Even though at the end he has to divorce her. Yeshua holds, no, I'm sorry. She was the one that put her foot, instead of the terminology, putting your foot in it, she put her finger in her mouth. And therefore, when you bite, it's her fault. She was the one that did that. Since she was the one that did that, and the husband went, and he actually said amen. So therefore, now, in was the condition in the ketubah, that you're going to take you back as a wife. Now that he can't do that, so now he's patur from actually coming and redeeming her. So this is what we want to actually come and say, right? That what? That is a machloke between, who are the two people? Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Eliezer Savar and Rabbi Yoshua. Okay, so says the Gemara, you can't say that. This is why. Listen carefully. If you're going to tell me that she was the one that put the finger in the mouth and therefore he just took the bite, but it was her fault, at the end of the day, why are you putting your finger in the mouth? Yeah, it's your fault. You went, you put your finger in the mouth. So ketubah ma'avita. So why does she get the ketubah? If already you're going to blame her that she's at fault, why are you giving her the ketubah? But two, and furthermore, Amar Binatan says Binatan, Shati Tzimchus, I asked Tzimchus when Rabbi Yeshua came and he said, you give the ketubah and he doesn't redeem her. What are we talking about? That first he made the neder and then she became captured, or the opposite, or even if it's nishpet, that she was captured and then he made the neder. I didn't hear anything. If she was the one that made the neder, at the end of the day, what do I care? She's the one making the neder, not him. So if she's the one that's making the neder, before we said, it was logical to say that first she was captured, that first he made the neder, and then she was captured. Because if not, he's going to pull a fast one. Here, anyway, she's the one that's making the neder. So what are we suspecting then? So says really be'emet, the adra ihu, that really it was the husband that made the neder. Each one is answering according to his reason. And listen carefully. Abaye comes and he answers according to his reason. That what? According to Shitat Abaye, which was the first Shita, according to everybody, Almana getting married to a Kohen Gadol, he's obligated to come and to redeem her. Right? Why? Because at the end of the day, right, there was the same condition of that he's going to take her back to her country, and he could still take her back to her country. According to everybody, that they cannot get married at all. So therefore, he's not obligated to get to redeem her. Why? Because he writes in the ketubah, that I'm going to take you back as a wife. He can't take her back as a wife. So then what is the machloket? Madir Eshet Kohen, also if it was the Madir Eshet Kohen, which means the Kohen that's being Madir Et Ishto, Nami Kulam Alo, also everybody agrees he's obligated to redeem her because that's Almana LeKohen Gadol. So when is the machloket? Ki plige, Madir Eshet Israel. When there was a neder from the Eshet Israel, which means the Israel made a neder on his wife. Rabbi Eliezer says that we go after Meikara, which means we go after the beginning of the Nisuin. So therefore, since at the time that the T'nai of the Nisuin, it was Chal, so therefore at the end of the day, he's obligated to redeem her. So what do I care about what's going to happen afterwards? And Rabbi Yoshua Oziel, but Yoshua says right now, can you take her back as a wife? No, you made a neder. So that's it. You don't have to redeem her. That is the Shita of Abaye. So one more time. To one extreme, Kohen Gadol, Almana leKohen Gadol lechuli alma, chayav liftota. Mamzeret netina liYisrael lechuli alma, lo chayav liftota. Eshet Kohen, b'madir Eshet Kohen, chayav liftota, because it's the exact same thing as the Almana to Kohen Gadol. When is the machloke? Madir Eshet Yisrael. He says that's the machloke of Rabbi Eliezer and Yoshua. According to Rabbi Eliezer, we go at the beginning, and therefore you're obligated to liftota. According to Rabbi Yoshua, we go up to the end. Right now, can you bring her back to your house? No. So you eno chayav liftota. Now we go to Rabbi. Rabbi also goes according to his reasoning. Almana leKohen Gadol, Almana to the Kohen Gadol. Then mamzer netina liYisrael, mamzer netina liYisrael. In this case, nobody argues. You're not obligated to come and to redeem her. So keep liga. When is the machloket then? B'madir. Only in madir, which means in the first case, right? Abaye was coming and putting a differentiation between Almana to Kohen Gadol and mamzer netina liYisrael. Then between madir Eshet Kohen, madir Eshet Yisrael. According to Rava, the first two are all the same. Almanah to the Kohen Gadol and Mamzer and Tzil Salam Shlo. So what does that mean? You're not allowed to. You're not obligated to redeem her. Then what about Madid? Madid is the same thing. Benim Eshet Kohen, Benim Eshet Yisrael. Rabbi Eliezer goes after the beginning, and since at the beginning it was Ra'ui Lachul, so therefore you're obligated to redeem her. Yeshua goes after the end, that you're not obligated to redeem her. And this is where we are at the two dots. Yet, chayav liftota. We just said that if a woman gets captured, the husband's obligated to redeem her. We learned in the what happens if she's captured during the lifetime of the husband, and then the husband dies? So if the husband knew that she was already captured, so Yorshim chayavim liftota. So then the Yorshim are obligated to redeem her. Lo yikir ba'bala. But if the husband did not know that she was captured, they don't have to come and they don't have to redeem her. So Levi wanted to do exactly what it's written. Elmaleh Rav told him, Habibi, my uncle, Habibi told me, yeah? We don't hold like this braita. But rather like this. And if she was captured after the death of the husband, they're not obligated to redeem her. The Lord, not only that, even if it was during the lifetime of the husband. And then afterwards the husband died, they're not obligated to redeem her. You don't say it, right? No. Even Shalom. No. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Right? Basically, that since the father, right? Since the father did not have the obligation of to bring you back as a wife, because now the father died. So therefore, there's no mitzvah on the Yerushim, there's no chovah on the Yerushim. Mitzvah, they could always do. They could always redeem her if they want, but there's no chovah on the Yerushim to come and to redeem. We also learned to the Braita. Imagine right now she gets captured, and they're asking from the husband 10 times her value. Maybe you would pay for your wife. I don't know. You would pay. I don't know what. How much would you pay? I don't know. 1,000, 2,000, 10,000. Yeah. What here? 10 times the amount of the value. Yeah. Hamarishona podeh. First time he has to redeem her. He come ve'elach from then onwards. It all depends. If he wants, he can redeem her. If he doesn't, it's all up to him. Rashbag Omer Bishbag says, yeah, Numbet Amubet, yeah, 52b. And Podine Tashuin Yoter al Kede Demen. You do not redeem them on more than the value of their money. So says the Gemara, according to the Shita of Rashbag, you're never going to redeem them more than their value. Because of the Tikkun Olam. What does that mean? If you remember, we already explained that the Tikkun Olam was very, very simple, because we said that basically that a person would never want to come and, like what happened with Maran Rotomu, that he was captured and he didn't let them redeem him. Right? Why? Because if not, they would come and start capturing every single, Anashim. So actually, he actually died in jail, and then that's what happened. Yeah. Yeah. He says if it's going to be their exact money, then yes. Now, even though their demea pidyon is more than the ketubah, meaning we have a contradiction. Nishbet. Imagine right now she's going to be captured and they're asking for 10 times the ketubah. So you see from here, if you want, you redeem. You don't want, you don't redeem. Rashbag is the one that says, only if it's the same amount of the ketubah, but you're not going to pay more than the ketubah. So answers the Gemara, Rabban Shim Gamliel, he's got two different kulot. Number one, that you're not going to redeem her more than her value. And number one, the husband is not obligated to redeem her more than her ketubah. So therefore, the Gemara is chozeret on that which we said at the beginning, and it says that because of these two different rights, there's two different kulas. One kula, you're not obligated to redeem her more than her value. Number two, if it's more than her ketubah, also you're not obligated to redeem. Next, laketa. If she becomes sick, chayav le'lapota, you're obligated to heal her. An almana is going to get parnasa from the property of the yatomim. Utzricha refuah, and she needs refuah. If she needs refuah, so then it's like mizonot. Okay, Rashbag Omer Rabbi Gamliel says refuah sheyesh la kitzpah. It all depends whether it has kitzpah. Nitrapet miktubata, so then she's going to be healed from her kitzpah. She'en la kitzpah reike mizonot. But if there's no kitzpah, so then it's like mizonot. So Amr Rabbi Yochanan says, do you know that hakazat dam? Remember, in the olden days, he used to bloodlet a lot. So those bloodletting, they made it like a briut in refuah, and it's still just like refuah she'en la kitzpah, which means the Yoshim are obligated to give her money to bloodlet, to take out blood all the time. The family member of Rabbi Yochanan, they had a wife that they basically that almana, that there was on their father. They needed every single day. She needed something. So imagine she needs a refuah every single day. They came from Yochanan. They said, he went and he said, you know what you do? Give her something fixed. By giving her something fixed, all of a sudden it's refuah sheyesh la kitzpah. ברגע שזה רפואה שיש לה קצבה, they're פטורים לגמרי. So Rabbi Yochanan said all of a sudden, 1 second, עשינו עצמנו כעורכי הדיינים. So 1 second, we just became like the lawyers. Meaning we're supposed to be the judges, but we're not supposed to teach the people what to do. Here he went and he taught his family members, right, how to get out of it. How did he went and he told them, give them a kitzbah, right? They come, they tell the doctor, listen, from now on we pay you per month. Yeah, no problem, boom. Now it's kitzbah. Kitzbah, they're pturim to pay. So he comes and he says, so therefore, no, so now they're pturim to pay her. Now she wants it, she gets it herself. They're not obligated anymore. The Yoshim are not obligated. But Rabbi Yochanan went, and so here in the footnote, he actually says, at the beginning, Rabbi Yochanan held it was his family. So since he was family, he wanted to help his family. But then afterwards, Mitzachani, he said, yeah, but then I became Orchei Dayanim. I'm not supposed to be there. You're the family members. But he's an Adam Chashuv. And since he's Adam Chashuv, he shouldn't have done it. Says the Mishnah, לא כתב לבנים דכרין דאבו לחי מנה יעינון יוטין כסף ולבטח, יתר לכו קרון דימה חוהון, חייב, שתנאי הוא בית דין. Says over here, if he did not write down בנים דכרין, the male children, דאבו לחי מנה that I'm going to have from you, that they're going to be your yoresh, kesef tubatech, more than the chelek that they have with their brothers, he's still obligated to do that. Why? Because it's tonight bedin. Next, benin netvan diyavel lechi mina yavyun yutvi beveti zamin nechsai ad elatfun neguvrin chayav shu tonight bedin. He comes and he says like this: the female girls that they are going to be from you, which they're going to come from a house, they're going to get parnasa until they're going to be taken from man. They're going to be chayav. Why? It's tonight bedin. At te yatva beveti mitzanim nechsai. Right? If she comes and she does not write down in the ketubah that you're going to sit in my house, you're going to have parnasah from my properties all the time that you're going to be an almanah in his house, he's going to be chayav. Tzanai betin. Basically, anything which is tzanai betin, even if he didn't write it down in the ketubah, it's still like it's written. So basically, this is what they used to write in Anshe Yerushalayim, right? And Anshe Galil used to write like Anshe Yerushalayim. However, the Anshe Yehuda used to write down Ad Shivso Yerushim Netelach Ketubatech. That basically the Yorushim have the upper hand. They could come whenever they want and say, listen, right, Mrs., how much is your ketubah? Whatever it is, take it. Get lost. Yeah? Go. That's what the ficha. And then they're going to tell her, hasta la vista. Says the Gemara, Umbet Amul Bet, 52b. Amar Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Yechai. Says Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Yechai. What's the reasoning why they made a takana of Gituva Benin Dichrin? So a person would give a lot of property to his daughter just like his son. Why? Because if he's going to give property to his daughter and then the daughter dies, and he's going to know now that it's not even his own grandchildren to take the property. It could be somebody else's grandchildren because the guy had 2 wives and now they divided equally. Why in the world is he going to write anything to his daughter? But now that he knows that Ketubah Benin Dichrin goes to the daughter and her children, so he knows that it's going only to his grandchildren. So a person will come and write properties to his grandchildren, to his daughter, because he knows it's going to his. So says the Gemara. He says, I don't understand. The Torah says that a boy inherits, a girl does not inherit. The rabbis are going to come and make an institution that the daughters are going to inherit and not the boys. So the answer is, there's also Doraita. It says in Pasuk in Yirmiyahu, take for yourselves wives and have boys and girls, and take boys for your take from your boys, women, and give to your daughters to men. I understand you could take your son to get married to somebody, but they're in your hands to do that. But the girls, how are you going to do it? Hakmashman comes to teach you. You have to give her things in order that people will jump on her, in order that they should come and they should get married to her. Meaning you have to entice the people that are going to come and say, wow, she's got property, she's got jewelry, she's got this, and then they're going to go running in order to come to get married to her. But so how much is it? Is what we're learning now in Daf Yomi much later on, that it's usually 10% of the properties. Right? That's what they usually give for the nedunya, for the dowry. So ask the Gemara, so he says, 1 second, why don't we say that only the nedunya, the father, right, is the one that gets it, the Yerusha to the Banim. But the Ketubah and the Tosafek Ketubah, it goes to the husband. Lolero, they shouldn't get it, which means Ketubah Benin Dichrin should only be the nedunya, which is a dowry, not the actual Ketubah. So answers the Gemara, if so, 1 second. If the husband's not going to give anything extra, the father's not going to give anything extra. Which means the father will give if the husband also gives. So if the husband's going to give to the wife something, So then the father knows, okay, this guy's taking care of my daughter. I'm also going to give her something. But if it's only a one-way street that the father has to give to the daughter, but the husband will not give nothing, no. So therefore, the nedunya of the father goes to the grandchildren, but not only the nedunya, also the ketubah of the wife goes to her children only, and therefore it was both ways. So fine. So why don't you just say, if the father gives a nedunya, so then the husband has to give ketubah and indichim. If the father does not give a nedunya, let's say he didn't have a nedunya or whatever it is, so then you don't have to give ketubah and indichim. And so we don't make differentiations. But so ask the Gemara, fine. But a daughter, right, should also have a Yerusha. So says Gemara, no. But there, when it's talking about the daughters that the person has from the children, there it's like a nachalot, which means nachalot, who gets inheritances? Only the boys. So the boys inherit ketubah benin dichrim. That's why it only goes to the boys, not to the girls. Bat ben abanot tirot, fine, but a girl between the girls. Lo they didn't make any differentiation, which means that once it starts getting only into girls and there's no boys, so then there's no ketubah benin dichrim. So ask the Gemara, if you're going to tell me that's ketubah benin dichrim, it's so important, take him metaltale. So collect from metaltalim. So answers the Gemara, ketubah shav yodorbanan. They mean it's shaveh to the ketubah. So answers the Gemara, titor meshabde, fine. So collect from things which are subjugated, that have a lien. Answers the Gemara, yirtun tnan. It's written at Yerusha. The fact that it's written in Yerusha, Yerusha could only be taken from something which is not going to have a lien on it. The Ema, so 1 second, why don't you just say that even if they could take the ketubah, there's not going to be nothing left over? So answers the Gemara, no. If it's going to uproot completely the Yerusha doraita, then no. Meaning there has to be some Yerusha left over. And if there's some Yerusha left over, you did the doraita. So now you have the ketubah ben indichrin, which was the Rabbanan. Okay? Rav Papa Yasek le'legrebe Abba Surah. Rav Papa, he went and he got married his son to the daughter of Abba Surah. Oziel, he went, he wanted to write the ketubah. He heard the Yudav and Mimar, he went out. So he went to him. When they got to it, he says, no, he wanted to leave. Elmaleh, he says, no, come inside. He says, no, he didn't want to come inside. This is a Nun Gimel, that basically that by him coming inside, he was going to force the other guy to write a big ketubah to his daughter, and he obviously didn't want that. Have a wonderful day.